Episode 12 of the On the Air podcast, starring you and today's guest. Out of Ohio, Florida A&M University graduate and vocational rehabilitations counselor. She thinks she's a little ratchet, but her friends just think she's awesome. You can find her on Twitter at Lowski007. Please welcome Lauren. All right, welcome to the show this week, episode 12. I know I usually start off the show, we usually just jump right into the guest, but the first thing I wanted to do this week was take a moment to thank you guys for downloading, for listening, wherever you all normally listen at, be it SoundCloud, be it Stitcher, be it iTunes, any of the reviews and feedback you've left on iTunes for me. I thank you from the bottom of my heart because there's a million podcasts out there, but you took the time out to find mine and listen to mine. So I definitely thank you for that. It's I really enjoy doing these things and I enjoy hearing your feedback. So that's that. Not to get too mushy or anything, but speaking of iTunes reviews, I'm gonna read one of my more recent reviews from iTunes. It says, let's see. I love when a new episode pops up. This is from Tots Boogie. I love when a new episode pops up. I look forward to hearing people speak about their lives, especially when it's someone I have seen on Twitter. There's so much more to people than we realize when you start asking them questions and give them an open forum, an open platform just to talk. The good, the bad, the pain, the joy. I love it. Keep it coming. That's Tatiana on Twitter. It's spelled TAHTEEAHNUH. I think I reached out to you and told you I appreciate the feedback. So I definitely appreciate you for that. And thanks for listening and all your support. In terms of other reviews, I got to get back to doing those. I recently bought a shirt from OwnYourBlackness.com. That's a shirt ran by Miss Gia. And the shirt, as far as I'm concerned, the shirt was awesome. High quality fabric. It wasn't a long wait. I think the handle time probably was maybe 2 or 3 days. I'm not sure what's listed on her site, but I didn't have any complaints. So I'm gonna try to get her on the podcast. So if you guys see her out there, peer pressure, ask her when she's coming on. Speaking of peer pressure, Risha, Kanye breast, she makes nice cookies. We've talked and she said she's gonna come on the show. Just trying to nail down the time. If you see her, peer pressure her, ask her when she's coming on, get on her nerves. I don't care. You can tell her I sent you. But we definitely want to get her on here. Got an awesome show lined up for her. Couple of other podcasts I've been listening to. Well, I haven't listened to this one. Well, technically I have because I kind of helped her edit it. But you guys follow her on Twitter. Some of you like her, some of you hate her. But I mean, there's still a discussion one way or the other. That's Diva Monroe. She has a podcast. I think that's coming out on Sunday the 19th. Sin on Sunday is the name of the podcast. She is, you guys either love or hate her stories, but she tells some of the most sexually explicit stories on the planet. So look out for that because that's going to be her new platform for her stories. Metal for Brains podcast is a show about metal, heavy metal, and they take the time to highlight the black artists in heavy metal, which I didn't know. I actually had the host on last week for that, and I was on his show, so you can check that out. Also the Short Message Service podcast. That's the SMS podcast. Search SMS podcast on iTunes. That's a new one. These 3 young ladies are doing magic over there. That's Shay Mo and Shuby, or Shay Mo and Shoobs. They're doing magic. You guys need to be a part of that. Go ahead and check that out and listen to it. A couple of things that's been on my mind. I know I haven't really given you guys too much of me in the first 11 episodes, so I'm gonna try to make a change about that. Shout out to Nikki _ Nini 11 who gave me the idea for that. But yeah, a couple things that's been going on with me. Let's see. A couple things that's been on my mind. Most recently, McDonald's needs to stop playing around with the breakfast. If you're going to serve breakfast all day, serve it. I'm tired of these damn tests. Stop leaving the sign up on the drive-through at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So when I come and ask for a McGriddle, and you tell me we're not serving breakfast, but the sign is lit up, and I'm thinking that I can get some. Stop doing that shit. Crystals needs to serve sunrises 24/7. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. People need to start being on time for stuff. My time is just as valuable as yours. And I expect people to do what this isn't coming from anywhere in particular. I just expect people to, if you're going to say you're going to do something, I expect people to do it. And I think we can all relate to that. One last thing I got this morning when I got up, I was on my way to work and I was trying to find something on Apple Music. Shout out to Apple Music. I was trying to find something to listen to that'll kind of, it's Friday. I want to be upbeat. So I was looking for Uptown Funk. Uptown Funk you up. Uptown Funk you. I was looking for that. So I found it, but then under it is a parody song called Downtown Funk. And so instead of how the normal hook goes, dude is like it was like, your girl stinking like tuna. Girl stinking like tuna. Girl stink some. Hold on, wait. Let me play this for y'all. Y'all not gonna believe this shit. Hold on.
That girl stinky like tuna. That girl stinky like tuna. That girl stinky like tuna. Her downtown funk gon' give it to you. Her downtown funk gon' give it to you. Her downtown funk gon' give it to you.
Saturday night she was caught.
But I don't believe that bitch was.
Yeah. Wow, now.
No, I don't believe that bitch was.
Yeah. Oh man, let me stop fucking around with y'all, man. I'm gonna go ahead and let me calm down and go ahead and introduce our guest, Lo. Y'all heard her on episode 6. She was in the background on episode 6 of the Chicago Roundtable. Lowski007 on Twitter. I hate to bring you in on that song because it's definitely not saying anything about you. What's going on, homie?
What up?
What's happening? Oh man, shout out to that song. It's the Hammer. What is it? The Hammer? Is Hammered Down Crew or Hammer Crew? Apple Music. Y'all check that out if y'all looking for something silly to listen to. Oh man, how was your day?
Oh, it was long as hell.
You work
It was long as hell.
You work 2 jobs, right?
I do.
Why?
Cause I got ADHD. I can't sit down. I got the attention span of a 2-year-old. I just feel the need to be moving constantly.
So your 2 jobs, are they like, I don't know if you feel comfortable getting into what they are. Are they polar opposites of each other, or are they in the same industry?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Complete opposites. And I did it on purpose, because my job, it's not stressful, but there's just so much that goes into it. So I just wanted to be able to do something else in the evenings that just is not related to paperwork. It's not related to me having to counsel people. It's not related to me. It's not related to any of that.
All right. So, okay, cool. Do you feel comfortable enough to talk about what you do? I mean, we can leave.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the differences between the jobs?
So during the day, I'm a vocational rehabilitation counselor. So I pretty much help people who have physical, mental, and emotional disabilities get jobs.
Wow.
And so it's been interesting. It really doesn't have anything to do with what I actually went to school for, but I still get to use my counseling skills, and there's still the foundation of it is still, having to build rapport with people and relationships and, have that empathy, and you're still helping. So I get to use some of my skills.
Okay.
And then I also work part-time at Macy's, which is completely different.
Totally different.
Yeah. Which, for me to be at the age I'm at working retail, like, it really does irritate me. But
shout out to the discount, though.
Oh, man, it's glorious. Like, so that's the upside of it. And I'm, like, super part-time. Like, I only get scheduled for, like, 2 shifts a week, but I can pick up other shifts. So it's actually love, because I get to manipulate my schedule I can pretty much work when I want to. So, but I didn't go today. That wasn't the reason why my day was so long. I had to go renew my license.
Oh,
and get
shit.
new tags. So I was at the DMV. I got off work early, and I was at the DMV for 2.5 hours. I was exhausted.
You would think that they found a way to speed that up.
Mm-mm. And they wanted your firstborn to convert your license, because I still had an Illinois license, and so I had to change it over to Ohio because my birthday is coming up. It was expiring. So, oh my God, I get up to the counter and the lady is like, "Well, we need your birth certificate." I'm like, "Bro, who walks around with their birth certificate?" I said, "Oh, I got a passport though." Cool.
Oh, all right, cool.
I can use my passport. We need your social security card, not a copy, but the original card. Boom, I got my card. I think I'm winning. Then she like, "All right, well, do you have your title?" And I'm like, I have some other paperwork from when I bought the car, because the car is still new or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but the problem was I've moved since I bought that car, so the address isn't current. She was like, "Oh, well, you're gonna need," and she gives me this list of 20 different documents that I can use to prove that I'm a current resident of Ohio and what my current address is. I had to leave after I had already been in line for 30 minutes. Had to leave, drive to the bank to get a bank statement that showed my current address, drive back, get back in line, get back to the front counter to then sit in another line. Child, I was like...
It's the Martin episode all over again.
Scratch! I was so scratch. And I was fed up.
You couldn't show them, I guess, the same like on your phone. You couldn't pull it up on your. They don't.
Nope. And on the paper it said online statement. So I tried to be slick. I say online statement, and I pulled it up right on my phone. She was like, "Nah." And the thing is, when I finally got up to the counter, the bride looked at it and gave it back to me. It ain't like she made a copy of it. I was heated. But shout out to the sister who helped me at the counter, because she was real nice, because she seen I was fed up, because I literally, when I got to sit down and wait in the other line, I had 58 people ahead of me.
What did she do, the cool chick?
I mean, she was just nice, you know what I'm saying, while I was just sitting there, because she knew I was fed up. When I got up to the counter, first of all, it had been pouring down rain, so I got to take a picture. My head looked like a damn cotton ball by this time. You know what I'm saying? I showed y'all my picture on Twitter that looked like a mug shot. But she was just really nice and cool. Cause, sometimes like when you go places, customer service is not always that great.
Yeah.
But she was super cool. She was down to earth. We was just chopping it up or whatever. And so it was cool once I got up there.
It kind of when you having a shitty day like that, and the customer service ain't what it's supposed to be, and you find that one person to help, it kind of makes it worth it. It doesn't make up for the shit the bullshit you went through, but it kind of makes it worth it. Shout out to her.
Yeah, she definitely de-escalated things, because I was about ready to turn up once I got up to that counter.
Yo, so you go in there, you pull the number, right? Like I hadn't been to the DMV in a minute, so they
don't even pull numbers.
No,
you got to do a check-in first. You can't get a number until you've proven that you have all the documents you need to go.
What?
Yo, and the thing that really saved me was I didn't have to take a driving test, because when I switched my license from Florida to Illinois, I had to take the written test to get my license when I moved to Chicago.
Okay.
But here, I was like, praise them. I didn't have to take no test.
That's how it was when I moved to Los Angeles. I from Atlanta, so they didn't require me to have to take another driving test, but I did have to study that book. I would have rather taken the driving test for that, but it was what it was. They still have that same annoying ass voice that's calling out the number, right?
No, it's the people behind the counter, and I'm sure every state is different, but they have the number thingy up there that you can see, but the people behind the counter are like calling out the numbers.
I never understood how if my number is, let's say my number is D52, that means I probably already had to wait 3 hours. My number is D52, and they're on D48 for the next 4 hours. Then when they get to D51, they start calling a whole nother letter. That used to drive me in fucking insane.
And listen, I was so glad to get up out the mud. I was so pissed that I had been in there for 2.5 hours. All I could think about was a Popeye's biscuit. Like, that was just the only thing that was gonna soothe my soul. It was the only thing, and I went and got 2 of them bitches. I was so fed up with life at that point. I was just like, yo, I see how stress can make you fat. Because I was so frustrated. I swear the cortisone in my body just went through the roof, and it was like, eat bread. I didn't buy bread. I can't keep bread in the house because I'll eat it all.
So you're at the DMV. That means your birthday's coming up. What day is your birthday on?
It's when it is.
All right. So you one of those? You don't want to say when your birthday is?
Nah, it's the 23rd.
The 23rd. All right. Okay. All right. So when this episode comes out, matter of fact, I'm gonna put this episode up next week. That way, the week of your birthday, you got a whole show dedicated to you. So happy birthday. That's my present to you.
Aww.
Don't say your boy ain't never did nothing for you.
Whatever.
Okay, interesting fact about Lo, people. She is in fact not Asian. How often do you get that question?
Oh man, I ain't even gonna lie to you. I get asked at least once a day.
What's
in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and it's not always Asian. Sometimes it is. I have been asked if I'm everything. Okay. Asian, Polynesian, Dominican, Puerto Rican. I don't know whether if it's I just put on too much bronzer one day or what it is, but every time, people are like, oh, your skin tone is interesting. Oh, your hair is interesting. Oh, your eye shape is interesting. And I'm just like, y'all ain't never seen mugs who look like this before?
What's the rudest way that someone has asked you about that?
What are you? As if I'm not human. That shit pisses me off. What are you? The fuck you mean? What are you?
So to be clear, there's nothing. There's no part of you 100% black.
I am black. Now, if you ask my grandmother, she'll tell you she'll tell you that there's all kinds of things in our family, which is true. I had to do a project when I was an undergrad, and my grandmother pretty much gave me the rundown of our family tree. And I mean, we had a significant amount of Native Americans in our family. But we also have white people in our family. If people have seen me post pictures of my family, you will see that my grandmother is extremely light-skinned. Mm-hmm. My mother is light-skinned. My sister is light-skinned. And of course, I'm just the in-between my mom and my dad. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, I'm black. And it's funny when people meet me in person, they be like, oh, you ain't Asian.
Wait, are they like
disappointed?
Are they disappointed?
I don't know if they're disappointed, but it's just, it's just, it may just be seeing me in person, just my features, and I'm not really, I for the most part think I look the same way in my pictures that I do in person, but just for whatever reason, when people just see me in person, it's different.
Maybe it's because in your pictures you're generally smiling, so that helps pronounce the Asian qualities on the end of your eyes. I guess I don't know. Like, I'm just spitballing, but maybe that's what it is.
I can't call it. I honestly, I can't call it. My mom and my daddy don't understand it. It's been going on since forever.
So you spoke about undergrad. Where did you go to school?
I went to FAMU.
FAMU, okay. All
I went
right.
to FAMU.
What did you major in?
Originally, when I went to FAMU, I was a business major, so I was an SBI.
Okay.
And then I switched over to psychology and English writing. So yeah.
All right. So when you found that major, and when you decided, whenever you decided, what were you intending to be like? What did you want to do with those degrees?
Well, originally when I first started school, I had my cosmetology license for a while, and so, I had some dreams of kind of opening up my own salon and things like that. But the more hair I did, the more I got sick of it, honestly.
So wait, so hold on, wait. You wanted to open up your own salon, and you're not Asian.
I know.
I was just fucking around. Shout out to the Asian community.
You acting up.
My bad. I mean, there's some truth in some stereotypes, and maybe that's for another show. Like that wasn't being mean or anything.
Oh, there are plenty of truths. It's just funny. Some people can just get away with speaking about those truths. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Us as Black folks, we know that there are stereotypes that are true.
All right.
But, you know what I'm saying? Let white folks talk about those stereotypes.
All right.
It's going to be on and popping.
All right,
but us as Black people can joke with ourselves about those stereotypes, because we know that that's just true.
Let's play a little game real quick. So I'm gonna say a stereotype. You tell me the race.
Oh no, this is gonna be bad.
Yeah, this is gonna be terrible.
This is gonna be bad because I don't even know that I'm gonna answer these correctly, and I just know I'm gonna have folks in my mentions like this bitch.
All right, so if someone is if someone is driving, actually, me and Brittany did this on the phone, and she gave a couple of answers. So check it out. If someone is driving crazy on the highway, or just can't drive, period. What would be the first race you think about?
Mexicans.
Okay. If someone was driving slow on the highway, what race would you think?
Asians.
Asian. What kind of cars Asians drive?
Camrys. In the old joints. Not the new joints.
What else? What else they drive?
Oh man, I don't even know. Camrys, Hondas. The old joints. They love them old joints.
If I said, damn, Lord, I just got in a wreck, but I don't know what race the person. I couldn't tell. They hit me in it was a red Toyota truck. What race did you think the driver was?
They white.
They white. I've asked somebody before. I've been getting white and Mexican. If I told you it was a low rider,
Mexican.
It was a Mexican. Let me think of course the normal stereotype for Black is they can't be nowhere on time. If all right, so we're at a party or we're at a cookout, or I'll say it like this: we're at a garden party to try to keep it neutral. And line dancing start breaking out. What's the race?
What song is playing? Because white folks line dance.
All right, okay.
Heart come on, okay. And they get to whatever the hell it is that they be doing. You know what I'm saying? But generally, line dancing, that's us.
That's us. What's a white line dancing song? Like I know the Neil Diamond song "Sweet Caroline" gets white people off their feet. Like they live for that song, but I don't think they really dance to it. Oh, Macarena. The Macarena is something, or is that a different race?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Anyway, but I derailed us. I got us way off track. All right. So at FAMU, you were so you were getting ready to tell us how you got what you were planning to do with that degree.
Right. So business. I wanted to open up salon. Blah 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 blah. I got tired of that shit. Um, I had now before I moved down to Florida, I was in North Carolina, and just to kill some time after I graduated from hair school, I went to the community college, and
Okay.
I had the best intro to psych professor. Like, and I had never even been introduced to the subject, but I just became obsessed with it. But not enough to where I was going to major in it originally. But I still had to take, like social psychology. I had to take something else, even as a business major. And then after I took that class, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to switch. And I just switched, you know. And so, you know, as I'm going through all of my classes, my experimental psych, because I honestly, even though I was a psych major, I really couldn't tell you what I thought I was going to be doing with it, you know. And I really, being at FAMU, you know, I didn't have a guidance counselor. I didn't have anyone who, you know, was able to really let me know what my options were as far as how I could use my degree, or if there was a better way to go about getting into the field. You know, of course, now hindsight is, you know, 2020. You know, I know a lot more now than I knew then.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I had some really good professors, and you know, I liked it for the most part. You know, it was okay. It definitely wasn't the same as the psych courses over at FSU. You know, you definitely saw the difference as far as the exposure to opportunities once you graduated, what you can use your degree for. So, you know, I kind of felt a little slighted. And then once I got to graduate school, I definitely saw that I was behind. You know, my classmates had already had internships and, you know, little jobs during the summer, and I didn't have none of that. You know, after I graduated from undergrad, I worked, you know, made some good money, stayed down in Tallahassee, and then I was just like, I'm ready to go grad school. So I applied to a school in Chicago, and got in and moved up to Chicago. and started graduate school. And grad school was awesome. I loved it. I definitely learned what I did not want to do and learned exactly what I wanted to do.
Which was on both fronts. What did you learn you didn't want to do?
While I am very good at it, you know, we had to do like a counseling, like a clinical little portion where you practiced counseling sessions and all that good kind of stuff with people. While I was good at it, I wasn't really interested in doing that for the rest of my life because it can get heavy, and my tolerance for certain populations as I got put into these different scenarios was not great. You know, if I'm sitting here trying to counsel somebody who rapes a little kid or beats their wife, or you know, and they're teaching you.
It's hard not to let your emotions get in front of that.
And it's hard not to internalize it. You know, like if you're dealing with all of this heavy stuff during the day, you know, they always say a psychologist has a psychologist. And when I was in graduate school, they encouraged us to get counseling, you know, just to see what it was like. And so while I was going through that, I found out like I just did not want to do that. But I still loved the field. And then I got exposed to the prison system. When I was in my last year, we had to do clinical hours. And so I was up at the Juvenile Detention Center in Chicago. And it was so great. You know, and people are like, it was great. You know, you're in this detention center, and the Chicago one was a low-level security. It generally was for those kids, like they were badasses, but it was kind of a privilege to still be in the city because then they could still see their families during the visiting times. The other facilities were further out of the city, and of course they were, max or medium security, and so, of course they didn't get to see their families as much. But I was working on, program development and doing research on how to reduce recidivism rates within the juvenile population, and I loved it. I built relationships with those boys, and it was amazing, and it's crazy to see the effect that you can have on those kids once you've built a relationship with them and they begin to trust you, because that's the biggest thing with these kids. A lot of times mom ain't there, dad ain't there, you got grandma who's still working, so she's not really able to take care of them the way that they need to be taken care of. And so naturally, who is taking care of them? The street, and whoever is in the street guiding them. And for some of those kids, you can tell that it was a lot of wrong place, wrong time. They know better. They're really smart. You do have some kids who don't give no fuck, but I find that when you're able to get on their level and really get down and talk with them and just see the world through their eyes, like, I learned a lot just talking to the kids, you know what I'm saying? And so that experience was just awesome for me. And so that was my goal after graduate school. I really wanted to get into the prison system and continue that work, but without knowing somebody to get into that system. And a lot of times when the states are doing their budget, those are some of the first programs that are cut from the budget, unfortunately. So they have funding to bring to work those programs, and we were fortunate enough to have a grant, to be able to do the work that we were doing, and trying to implement the program in that prison that we were trying to do. So, it's a little, I guess, disappointing that I'm not at this point doing what I would like to do, but I still get to, touch people's lives and have a huge effect, on their quality of life, because working is everything.
Did you have or did you have like a favorite kid, like one that just kind of just really touched you, and he would be be with you everywhere you went in that detention center?
No, just because they didn't really serve long sentences. And if they wound up having to serve a longer sentence, they were likely transferred to another facility. But there were some bright spots. There were definitely some kids who, I looked forward to seeing them in class, like, what you gonna do today? Your class acts, the ones who love to entertain, good kids in general.
Did any of those kids ever teach you anything about adults?
Adults don't listen. We don't listen. We think we know everything. Adults, as adults, as we get older, it's a power thing. As you get older, you have the ability to kind of, push that power, to manipulate other people. And it's, it was the same way, for a lot of us growing up. It was, at least for me, it definitely was not a democracy at home. It's do what I tell you to do. Exactly. It was definitely totalitarian. Do the fuck I tell you to do. There are no other options. And I think that as adults, got set in our heads, especially when dealing with kids. And I'm not saying that it needs to be a democracy when dealing with kids, but when you're dealing with kids age 13 through 18, at some point there's got to be something else you pull out your hat to reach a kid.
Because they'll check out.
It's got to be something else, because, the same thing happened with my dad. As a little kid, spankings work, but as I got older, it didn't have the same effect that it used to have. So then my dad had to switch up and find other things that would, render the result that he was looking for, whether it was me being grounded or it was taking my phone away or, I couldn't go to homecoming or whatever it is that my dad knew that was great to me, would, would take it away. But of course, as kids, you always find ways around that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you have to find a different way to reach those kids. And especially with that population, kids who have been out in the street and who are growing up with this mentality that money is everything, that I got to be this boss and not a boss, for themselves or in a legal way. But it's like, I need to be a boss out in these streets. I got to have folks respect me. You 13, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not even something you should even be worried about at this point, So you really have to find a way to reinstill, values and morals and all that. And it's hard for kids that age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With stuff that they've seen by that point, it's hard.
I find myself like with I got to stop calling him my little brother. The dude is 20 now, but he's calmed down a little bit more now. I think we all kind of have a little bit of that wild phase. But I remember telling my mom when my brother was 17, maybe he had just turned 18. I said she couldn't understand like why she couldn't reach him. And how to, because he was just wilding out. And I told her, I said, Mom, it's kind of, I was like, it's hard because right now he's young and he's virile. He's gaining his strength. He's a lot faster than at his age. If he falls and gets hurt, he heals quicker. He's about as closest to invincible and than anybody else would probably be, at that age, compared to you and I. It might take us a little bit longer to heal or whatnot, but it's hard because he might feel like he's invincible, but it's because he doesn't know it. He doesn't know otherwise. You know what I mean? Like
right.
you can't tell him. Like if he goes and sprains his ankle, he good. Put some ice on it, probably good the next couple of days. You, on the other hand, Mom, you may need to get some crutches. So you have to you got to figure out a way to show him that he's human too. And it's hard to do that when he's bigger, faster, and stronger.
Well, and sometimes you just gotta let folks fall on their ass. That's definitely what my dad did. I was hard-headed, and I had this thing for learning shit the hard way. And honestly, I really didn't understand that shit until I moved out. Yep. I was really pressed to move out of my parents' house, and when I got the opportunity to move out, I did. And I swear to God, I struggled for the next 10 years. It was straight struggle from 20 to fucking 30. I swear to God. Like, I mean, and so it really puts all of those things that your parents are trying to beat into your head into perspective.
Yep.
And, if I knew then what I knew now, shit, I wouldn't have stayed home as long as possible.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have been so hasty to be independent, because this life shit is hard as fuck.
Yeah.
And although I have extremely supportive parents, it gets to the point where at some point, you know what I'm saying, like, you gotta deal with your own shit.
Yep. Definitely shout out to the people that I looked up to that made it seem like being an adult was just the thing to be. Shout out to y'all. Like I would tell my mom about my brother. I say the thing is this. He's gonna go. I said, watch my approach. You just gotta let him fall on his ass a couple times. But the thing is this. I know it's hard for you as a mom watching that, but as long as you continue to instill what's right and teach him what's right, when all the other stuff that he's doing fails, that's what he's gonna have to fall back on. And she's kind of seeing that now. I just want young people to make smart decisions. Like my brother, for instance, I would say, if you're gonna smoke weed, smoke weed. I don't have an issue with you doing that. Just be smart about the shit. It kills me when young people just aren't being smart about the shit that they do.
Yeah, they're not smart these days. They're not smart at all. You know, definitely not like, you know. And I mean, things change. I mean, it's crazy shit we see kids doing now. Like, you know, people were having sex when we were in high school.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But it was taboo as fuck for you to be pregnant in high school.
Yep.
When I was in high school. You know, if you got pregnant in high school, they sent your ass off.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't see your ass again.
Motherfuckers was whispering.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit. And it was like, girl, she's having sex. You know, because, you know, it wasn't none of that going on in my household. Mm-hmm. You know, let me tell you. You know, I had such a strong fear of my dad that it wasn't happening.
How did your parents, well, of course they found out eventually. How did your parents find out that you were having sex?
No.
They didn't? They still think you're a virgin?
No, they don't. But it was never a conversation. It definitely wasn't. You know, my sister was, you know, until she met her now husband. You know, my sister definitely had a stronger will than I did. You know, but it was never a conversation that, you know, we had. My mom and dad did not ask, and I did not tell. You know, you know, if I had questions or if I had concerns, you know, I had the ability to go to them, but it definitely was not something that we were talking about. You know, there was no, you know, use condoms, Lauren. There was none of that. You know, I knew that that's what I needed to be doing, but my parents were more or less of the mindset, like, I ain't encouraging you to do that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, eventually you're going to do it, but we ain't finna just, you know.
This is how the conversation went. It was two totally different conversations with my mom and my dad. My dad was basically this. He wanted to make sure that that I understood that if I got somebody pregnant, that I was going to have to pay for it. And then he spelled out this. He's painted a picture of how I don't have no money and what I was gonna do because this little allowance ain't gonna do shit. But my mom, on the other hand, my mom was a nurse, and so looking back at it, my mom probably was just struggling with trying to figure out. My mom was really blunt and crass, so my mom, I'll never forget it. I was getting ready to go to school in the morning. She was going to work. My mom bust in the room. And she said, "Corey, is you fucking?" And I looked at her, I was like, "Yeah, Mom, I am." And then she goes, "Yo, nasty ass." Then she slams the door and walk out. So now she's come back in because she's trying to figure out how to let me know that she's there for me. So she busts the door back open again, and she's like, "Corey, is you using protection?" And I said, "Yes, Mama." She was like, "Cause your dick gonna fall off if you ain't." Then she walked back out. Then she busted the door back open again. "You know you can come talk to me about anything if you need to." "Yes, Mama, I know." "All right, then. I'll see you later. I love you." That was the conversation, and that's how I went. I think maybe for a few weeks before, I mean, she would ask, and I kind of was, you know, I would deny it because I didn't know how she was going to take that. But then after that, I kind of just knew at that point that I could tell my mom anything. I knew it before, but it was just, she didn't make it awkward, and she never did. But when she really just wanted to get a real answer, it wasn't awkward. And I think that's sometimes like with parents, like I'm not going to have a quote unquote birds and bees talk, like because that's not what they're going to hear when they leave the house. You know what I mean? So, whereas with my dad was almost a little more uncomfortable with it as far as I felt. So it was a little more uneasy to have the conversation with him than it was my mom because she kind of attacked it straight on. But you know, that's that. I want to let's dive into you a little bit more. How many siblings do you have?
I just got one.
Just okay. Your
just
sister?
One, just my little sister. And she's not really little. Like she ain't nothing but 18 months behind me. But she's still younger technically.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So we can. I got the same struggle. So I mean, until they get older than us, they just gonna have to deal with being little sister.
yeah, it ain't never gonna happen. So it is what it is.
Exactly. Tell us about what had you scared about her a few years ago.
So my sister got really, really sick back in 2011, and we didn't know what was going on with her. She's living in Alabama, and she was with her best friend down there, and I'm up in Chicago in graduate school, and I get a frantic phone call one day from a friend while they're on the way to the emergency room. That something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Something was wrong with her. So, uh, I catch a flight
Mm-hmm.
down there, and she's in the hospital, and they're not really telling us anything. And at the time, my mom was deployed in Iraq. And my parents were stationed in Japan at the time. And so I called my dad. I let my dad know, they have to do like some Red Cross thing to get people who were deployed messages and bring them from out there back, So I had already been down there a few days, and, my sister's condition is, rapidly getting worse. And they had no idea what was wrong with her, and she pretty much had fallen into a coma. And this was from September up until maybe December.
Wow.
And at some point I had to go back to school. And my mom and my dad stayed down there with her. And it was just, they were telling us that she wasn't ever going to come out of it. And, beginning to have to wrap my head around, like, what if she's not going to be here no more? Like, and I consider myself to have pretty good coping skills, but I was not coping well with that.
Yeah.
And so we transferred her because they just were not caring for her the way that we thought they should have been. They're telling us that it's one thing, and I'm telling my parents we need to get a second opinion, because the symptoms that she was exhibiting were, frankly, mental health symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
But our family doesn't have a history of it. Of course, everybody is looking at me like, Lauren, tell us something. Tell us what's up, And I'm just like, we need a second opinion. So they drove from Alabama, Baltimore, to go to Johns Hopkins, took her down to the emergency room, and they do a body scan. Come to find out, she's got this tumor that's been growing on one of her ovaries. And the technical term, let's see, I can't think of the term. I'll probably think of it as I keep talking. Something neoplastic syndrome. And so they took her, did emergency surgery, and the whole side, the ovary, fallopian tube, everything, And this whole time, by the time I've gotten back up to Baltimore to see her, and she still was out of it, It went from my sister, when I first got down to Alabama, she still knew who I was. And then during those months, it was just black for her. She wasn't awake. She wasn't talking. She wasn't doing anything. And she didn't know who we were. Even when she first got out of surgery, it took her some weeks, kind of come to. So Yeah, it was crazy, 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 crazy.
What would you guys do to? I imagine it had to be some form of heartbreak for you all for her to not recognize you. But then at the same time, you guys you're happy that she's awake, right? So how? I guess what I'm asking is what did you guys do to kind of help try to jog her memory? And did any of it help, or was it just a matter of it just needed to just come back on its own?
I mean, it was just time, as she came out of, the fog, everything kind of came to her. But she doesn't remember anything. That's the crazy part. She doesn't remember anything. That period of time is completely blank for her, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes we joke about it, all of us being able to remember it, but she doesn't. Which is good because it was, I wish I could forget it.
What was that moment like when she got her memory back?
It was, I had left before she had come to, and I probably, when she got released from the hospital finally, and then she was staying with my grandmother, and I got to talk to her on the phone for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
That, I think at that, that moment, it was cool. Like, I was like, okay, I kind of got my sister back. And she was still, even then, she was still on a lot of medication, just still kind of clearing the fog.
Yeah.
But by the time she got home and she had been released from the hospital, it was a complete turn from the beginning.
Do your parents or whomever was there, do they remember, like, did she say anything that kind of was like, that gave you guys hope, like, you know what, I think she's coming back? I think she's starting to remember. Or was it just one day she was just there?
It literally was like from one extreme to the other. Like, she had the surgery, but she was still kind of out of it. And then as her condition improved and she started talking again, then they were able to release her. But there was never, it was not that, not to my recollection, this dramatic moment like what we see on TV, like people just come out of these comas and they look up and they see, like, no. Shit does not happen like that.
Oh man, well, shout out to her. I'm glad she's back and she's doing good. And
oh yeah, she's perfect now. She's got my nephew. My nephew's getting ready to be 3. Here she is with only half functioning.
So that was gonna be my next question. Like, she was able to still going to have kids.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, it's not something that we ever, really talked about in length. Just because if anybody knows my sister, she's a tomboy, and Nikki was definitely always about, I ain't having no kids, fucking up my body. My sister was all about that 6-pack. She was, I mean, we played sports as kids, so we were all athletic. But as I grew up, I began to be more girly, still playing sports. But Nikki held true to the tomboy, and she was like, "Fuck that shit, fuck stretch marks, fuck all of it." And it's crazy. She literally, like, the crazy thing about the whole thing. So after she got well, she got a job. She moved to Florida, and she met her now husband. And she calls me out the blue one day, and she's like, "Yo, are you sitting down?" And I began to panic because I'm thinking that it's something dealing with because she was still having regular checkups with the neurologist and all this other stuff. So I'm thinking it's got something to do with when she was sick. Child, she like, "Girl, I'm pregnant." And I say, "Oh shit, when did I fucking?" That was my question.
When did you start fucking?
The crazy part was my sister was 30 plus weeks by the time she found out she was pregnant.
Wow.
Pregnant. I mean, she wasn't you find out like 6 weeks. No, she was pregnant and did not look it, And it's crazy because we had gone to Japan and, we had done all this other stuff, and whole time she pregnant. And, then when she finally found out, then, she, began to blow up a little bit. But she was literally all baby. And I swear, after she puts my nephew out, she was snapped back, right back, just as skinny as can be, but yeah, so, that's it. That's our miracle baby. Because she definitely wasn't thinking, that she could or was even interested in that, at that point. But it happened, and it's great, and he's a mess, and it's awesome.
Shout out to Auntie Lowski.
You know what I mean?
Building.
He don't like me.
No?
He don't like me.
What you do to him?
And I love him. He's just the cutest little bad butt ever. But nah, he don't mess with me.
Why not?
He might mess with me when he becomes a teenager or something like that, but nah, he ain't really down with Auntie Lolo right now. What? He is a mama's boy. He don't want nobody but his mama.
You be clowning him, huh?
I don't be with them temper tantrums, you know what I'm saying? And my sister, you know what I'm saying, is a lot more tolerant, and I don't be with it, you know what I'm saying? Because he a real smart too. Mm-hmm. He be knowing, and he understands clearly, and he be trying it, and I be like, nah, bruh, that's what we not gonna do.
Your shit ain't happening over here, fam.
He don't be with it. He be like, man, forget this. So, my sister would be like, Auntie Lo on the phone. He'd be like, no. I won't talk to her. And I'd be like, I bet. Shit, I ain't sending you shit for your birthday,
That's precious. All right, so let's change gears a little bit. Let's talk about. I got a few things I can go. Let's go ahead and dive into relationships.
Oh God.
Dealings of the opposite sex.
Oh God.
All right, so check out. The first question I'm gonna ask you is, have you ever been corrupted by a dude? Like, has a dude ever done or said anything and you haven't been the same since? Good or bad?
I like to think that I stay true to who I am for the most part.
Don't we all?
I probably a good thing that I've done is I always put myself first, no matter what. Okay. Even if that means that it's something that I want, but there's just this feeling that I'm not getting what I should be getting, then that's just,
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You gotta fizzle out for me. You gotta look out. You gotta take care of self first. I give people the analogy all the time. If a building is burning and I gotta save you, I can't save you before I save myself. Right. So you take time for you. But
I can't. I had such a bad habit of just giving and giving and giving and giving. And it's amazing, it's crazy, and talking to people are like, it's amazing you're not bitter as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because, I haven't had, the best relationships. But, I mean, I'm not bitter at all. I'm still extremely open.
How do you avoid how did you avoid being bitter?
It takes so much energy doing that. Like, if you look at people who are bitter, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be fucking exhausted feeling like that all fucking day. And just finding ways that you think are gonna piss somebody else off who really give no fuck about you.
That's a lot of
energy.
You know
what I'm saying? They done moved on. And here you are exhausted as fuck.
Face all scrunched up.
To feel a certain, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that shit. Like, I think ever since that situation with my sister, I have just, like, my mindset is just so different, as far as just, like, spending time being angry about shit. Like, I get angry, but I ain't gonna stay angry. You know what I'm saying? And I have learned to pick and choose, battles. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I'm definitely, like, I just want to be happy. Like, life is so fucking short. Humans, just us in general, we are so fragile. Yeah. We take for granted every day this breath that's in our bodies and our our peace of mind and our ability to think and function on a regular basis. And that shit can just be swept from under you in 2 seconds. You could go outside in your car, turn a corner, and a semi hit your ass.
Just like that, you out.
You never fucking know. Shit, I've been and walked outside and a deer fucking attacked me where I live at. Fuck out me or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Shit happens. You know what I'm saying? But it just takes so much fucking energy to be mad at people. Like sometimes people just be like, oh, how are you still like cool so and so, or you know, like, because for the most part I'm cool with my exes, with my serious relationship, and I only count technically 2, you know, serious like adult relationships. And so, you know, I mean, it takes time, you know, as far as getting back in a headspace where, you know, you can talk to a person and you don't feel some kind of way. But I just don't have the time. I got so much other shit to worry about. I have time to still be sitting here angry and upset. That situation is done. It's not changing. It happened. You live, you fucking learn. You know what I'm saying? Life's hard as fuck. That's just what the fuck it is.
Life is much harder than this little relationship.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I will do everything I can to, you know, work at a relationship, you know, but I definitely now become one of those people, like, I don't fight this shit. Like, if a motherfucker says it's over, then okay.
You ain't really love me anyway if you ain't trying to fight.
I'm not doing none of that shit.
Not playing those games.
I'm not doing none of that shit, okay? You know, and like I was saying on Twitter the other day, we have such a habit of like it takes people a long time to get over relationships because we play over that good shit that was in the relationship. Oh, I missed this about this person. I missed this about the person. What I do, I play that shit all the way through.
Yep.
All the way through the end to the bad shit. You know what I'm saying? And not that I focus on the bad shit, but I really need to get back into perspective as to why I'm not with that person no more and why it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and fantasize about shit that I know, you know what I'm saying, isn't the whole truth about that situation.
Exactly.
You know? And we have such a bad habit of doing it. And that's why you find that people 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 years fucking later, you still ain't got over your fucking ex. And she got married and had kids and got a whole ass fucking family, and you still sitting here bitter as fuck.
What's the most positive thing you've learned from an ex? You ain't learning nothing from your exes?
I mean, I got good habits for.
Okay, all right, okay. We'll go from.
I definitely have made taking care of myself a priority. You know, with my fitness. My last ex, he was definitely a gym rat. And so I saw how consistent he was, you know, as far as just his routine in general, you know, and he dedicated everything to that process. And so, you know, I definitely got to see, you know, what happens when you are consistent with stuff like that. So that's a positive thing. That's a positive thing that I learned.
Okay. What was the worst thing you learned from an ex?
People lie.
Well, yeah.
People lie. I just people are manipulative. And they will manipulate people who they say they love, regardless. Love, I guess if that is love. You know,
when you encounter people like that, do you? Is there a part of you that kind of pities them? Like that's their nature and they don't know any better? Like I'm not saying make excuses for them, but
No, because I think that they very much these are incredibly intelligent people. I mean, they like sociopaths. You know what I'm saying? They know better, and they know exactly what they're doing. You know, the problem is they're so good at it is that they have this way of making you feel like you should pity them for whatever reason. They flip the script as to why they do the things that they do, like they're lacking in this area, which is really fucked up. That you're lacking in that area, but that's no excuse for you to do fucked up shit to other people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And for you to think about doing fucked up shit, act on it, get caught, and then really be like, well, fuck it, I don't get no fuck. That be the shit that just right there separates it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sit there and be like, I don't get no fuck. Cool. You don't get fuck, I don't get fuck. You know, I don't put energy into motherfuckers don't reciprocate.
I got you. That's fair. What's the worst way a dude has tried to get at you? Worst or funniest, whichever.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, I really I don't know. Touching me is a big.
Nah, I can't do it. I can't. I see that all the time, man. It's like you don't even know this person. Like,
and I mean, people who know me, of course, like I got a big ass. You know what I'm saying? And so when I'm out, people, especially like if I was in a club or something like that, people just feel the need to just touch. Do not fucking touch me.
you turn around. You ever turn around and swung on the dude for that?
No, I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not a hitting, person. I believe everybody should be keeping their hands to them.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I will snap the fuck off on you, and I'll make sure other people hear it. I'll embarrass the fuck out you.
Oh, you'll cause a scene. You that person.
Oh, I'm gonna be loud as fuck. Sure.
Okay. What's the best way a guy has ever got at you?
Best way. You know what's crazy about that? Well, just in general, just like coming up and sparking a conversation with me in general is a good way to approach me. But honestly, if I could think about like the people that I've talked to, I think I've actually been the aggressor
really?
in most of those situations. I can only think of a couple of situations where I wasn't, but I definitely,
how do you
wanted to shoot my shot, I guess.
How do you typically get at dudes?
Complimenting.
You know what? That's let me tell you why that's underrated. That's an underrated move, complimenting dudes, because we don't get complimented often. So when a chick compliments us, we hear it. At first, we trying to peep where the jig is because that don't happen often, but it is extremely flattering when a woman compliments a dude, because I guess with some women, because women in general they receive the bulk of the compliments. We're usually the ones doing the bulk of the complimenting. And so, there's a time when you think, well, damn, it catches you off guard as a dude to be complimented by a woman. It's not to say that you're ugly or you don't have anything going on. I just don't think women know that, hey, we want to hear that too, type of thing. So,
well, naturally, I mean, we're looking for men to be those aggressors, and it's tricky when you approach men because men, y'all so damn dumb.
Oh, God.
Y'all need flashing lights, signs.
Well, wait a minute.
Like, you really just have to put it in, like, straight up terms.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I like you. I'm trying to get at you.
Yes.
Because I will flirt with you and do all these things, and you still ain't getting my drift.
Let me tell you why.
Still.
Let me tell you why. Let me explain to you why. All right. For one, we simple as creatures. We speak a direct language. Women throw us, when we're trying to get at a woman, they throw us so many different mixed signals and curves that we can't really read shit. So you are, rather than being direct, women like to operate behind throwing signs. I'm gonna give this guy a sign so that he'll know. And for us, it's like, why don't you just tell us instead of trying to come up with the bat signal, because we'll never hear it. We'll never see it.
But can't you tell the difference? I mean, look at your experience now. Can't you tell the difference between knowing somebody was feeling you versus someone who curved you?
After the fact.
Guys have this thing about not wanting to hurt people's feelings, and I get it. But I would rather a dude just be like, hey, you know what? I'm not interested, instead of like, you like, don't fake curve me. If you gonna curve me, fucking curve me. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do that bullshit. I'm gonna be okay if you say you're not interested, but instead, you know what I'm saying, guys do all this other bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you compliment a nigga and he be like, girl, stop playing, or this or that or whatever it is. Like, nigga, I'm being fucking serious and you sitting here bullshit.
Well, part of it is so you'll find this with a lot of dudes. We'll think on it for a while, and it'll probably be 2 or 3 chicks down the line where we're like, damn, I think that person really liked me, and we realized that was a missed opportunity or something we should have cashed in on, because we just didn't peep it, or we just didn't see the signal. So yeah, hindsight is always 20/20, but it's like I think with us, because again, it's not all that common. I guess, and I encourage women to do it, but it's not all that common nowadays for women to get at dudes. And I know for me, whenever a woman has showed interest in me, my initial thought was she can't be serious, or what's the joke? You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking to be the ass end of a joke. Not that I don't think that I'm, cool enough to be approached or whatever, but you just kind of wonder, like where's the jig? You just always feel like where the jig
bullshit
is.
You have to understand what it takes for us to do approaching. See, guys, it's an instinct in you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, men find their wives, or whatever it is that you want to say. So you guys naturally are hunters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's an instinct in you to approach women. For women, it's different. Like, I will sit and contemplate some shit for weeks before I shoot my shot. I'll flirt. I'll throw some jazz here and there just to get a feel. And, if I don't really get nothing, shit, fuck it. Taking my ball, I'm going home. Fuck that shit. And then, of course, you may be talking with that person a significant period of time later, kind of find out, like, well, shit, why you didn't tell me? Well, nigga, shit, I hit you upside the head a couple times and your ass didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all really have to understand what it takes. So you should take all of that seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, actually, I'm kind of a flirt, but a mug can tell the difference between me just flirting and in full pressure.
What's the difference?
You know what I'm saying?
What's the difference?
If I'm beginning to ask you questions, and I mean genuine questions, you need to be like,
oh shit,
your antennas need to be going off.
She about to put me in the game, coach.
Right? It's off your fucking warm up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna do this shit too many more times. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you, why not be direct? Or is it the reason why you're not being? Here's what I'm hearing from it. Women probably aren't being direct because they are in that planning stage and trying to plan a course of attack, I guess. Is that what it is?
I think that, like, it's kind of like one of those, like, you don't want to be the first person to tell somebody that you love them. You really want to get a feel for that person before you just straight up blurt out, hey, yo, nigga, I like you.
Okay.
And I want to see what's up. Because you may find out that motherfucker is interested in you and keep some of your pride before you even put yourself out there. And I'm all about that. I'm a prideful motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Which is a problem. But it saves me from my internal embarrassment. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I try to feel a person out first. See if I can get the info I need without having to give too much of myself up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right.
So it's safety net.
I hear you. That's fair. You understand the frustration for us though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I
Cool.
mean, y'all pros at it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got different skin than us. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we ain't really got much of a choice. I mean, shit. The thing with dudes is, I don't want to say that, and it sound terrible, but I guess we become pros at it because there's a significant portion of our lives where we're just kind of throwing up jumpers for sport.
Right. See, and I ain't doing that shit. I'm throwing up quality motherfucking shots. You know what I'm saying? I ain't Shaq shooting behind the motherfucking 3-point line. No. We ain't doing this shit for fun.
What's the have you ever been catfished before?
Nah.
Nah? Okay, cause you
Thank God.
do your research. What's the dumbest lie a dude has ever told you?
Dumbest lie. I honestly think that, I mean, for the most part, people be honest with me. Up front for the most part.
It could be a lie that you already knew this was a lie, and it just and him sounding dumb as hell with it didn't make it any better.
I don't know. Nothing sparks at the moment.
Has the dude ever lied to you?
Oh, plenty of times. Plenty of times.
What are they typically?
I'm thinking about like the initial, like if somebody was trying to get to know me and maybe they lied about something, like a mug saying, he ain't married and he married.
Well, no. I should. My apologies. I should have clarified. I mean, general. The dumbest lie, in general.
That he wasn't cheating or wasn't doing shit that he was doing. Just a general shit.
When dudes typically lie to you, what are they lying about?
What they doing. What they doing and what they not doing. Generally, if I ask you something, I already have an inkling that you're doing that shit. And I'm asking you to see if you're going to be honest with me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, if I say, hey, is you fucking with so-and-so? I likely already know that you are.
Nah, baby, I ain't fucking with so-and-so at all, girl. You crazy. You
right, and that just makes the shit even worse, because now you just a lying ass motherfucker. And for no reason, because I just gave your ass a fucking out.
But what if I hit you with, okay, yeah, I am. Now what?
Then you deal with the fucking consequences. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know. I mean, am I at a point right now where I'm forgiving motherfuckers for cheating? No, because you just a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'm at this point, like, you really making conscious decisions to fuck somebody else while you're with me. Cool. You don't really want to be with me. Now, naturally, it would be different if I was married because there are vows. You know what I'm saying? And I intend on taking them shit seriously. And so it's fucked up because then now I got to question my... You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You put me in a position where I now have to question my vows.
Do you feel like you'll ever be in a position to forgive a guy for cheating on you? Like, is that somewhere you want to? Yeah, is that somewhere you want to be?
I have, which is why I'm of the mindset now that I will not. Okay. I have, because I have, and I wish I hadn't. I'm always telling people not embarrass me, especially not in front of mixed fucking company. Right. And the thing with cheating, it's always this embarrassment actor, and like it's done, I guess, if people don't know, but for me, it's always been some messy shit as far as me finding out how a motherfucker is cheating. Yeah. A bitch approached me. You know what I'm saying? And telling me what my man is doing with her. With evidence.
Wait, that's happened to you?
Yeah.
What's their motivation to do that? Like, I don't understand.
The funny thing to me is side bitches don't know how to be side bitches no more. You know, bitch, stay in your lane. Do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Side bitches want to be main bitches now. You just can't enjoy being a side bitch. That's the funny part of me. The not so funny part of me, you know what I'm saying? Like, bitches just be looking for drama. Some women just feed off of that shit. You know what I'm saying? She's upset. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm going to out this nigga. And I'm going to embarrass his girl for whatever reason while I'm at it.
So when that happened, how did you respond to it? First to the chick.
Well, and of course, to save face, you know what I'm saying, for myself and for my relationship, you know, because she proceeded to do the shit publicly, you know, bitch, you don't know me, you know, I gave off the vibe like I didn't believe it, even though in the back of my mind I knew that shit was true. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I presented a strong home front. You know what I'm saying? Don't you approach me about shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You fucking know me. Don't be disrespectful. You know, don't be coming to me about shit. A problem, bitch, talk to him. I ain't your motherfucking problem. But don't be coming at me sideways. You know what I'm saying? Because they always come at the other bitch sideways. Bitch this, bitch that. What is your problem? You don't even fucking know I existed until 5 minutes ago. Now all of a sudden I'm your fucking problem. I'm not your problem. I'm not the one who was fucking you. If anybody got a problem, it's fucking me.
Exactly.
You know. But yeah, you know, I've stayed. And it's funny, you know, when I did stay, you know, I'm asking my dad, because my dad is always, you know, he had 2 girls, he just gave it to us real raw, you know. And he was always of the mindset, like, you know, if you're gonna stay, you shut the fuck up. You forgave him, you gone over, you know what I'm saying? You can't continue to hold that shit over people's heads, you know what I'm saying? And definitely believe that, you know, people make mistakes. If you decide to forgive them and you stay, then you're going to work on building. But if you're going to sit there and put them through the fucking ringer because you don't trust them no more, you better off don't stay. Because you're just going to dig yourself a deeper hole. You're not really going to be in a relationship. You're going to be too worried about what the fuck he's doing. You're not working on rebuilding trust. And that's a hard ass thing to rebuild once it's been broken. Yeah. You know? But, you know, I mean, I'm assuming it's possible people do it. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you
really want to.
I don't think you ever truly get over something like as far as like trust. I think you reach a point where it's legible at best. Like I give the analogy. I give this. So you take a sheet of notebook paper, and you know it's no crinkles or anything in it. Then you ball it up. So now it's balled up, and now it being balled up is the form of a lie. Then you try to smooth it back out again. That paper is never going to be the same. I don't care how many times you run your forearm over it. Now, you may be able to get it flat enough where it's legible to write on it, but it's never going to be the same. And that's just how I feel about it.
Right.
But I want to definitely go on record to say, you know, I'm not cheating on my woman, and you're not going to catch me doing dirt cheating on my woman.
Oh, I know you're not, because you don't want no parts. You don't want no parts of the crew. You know what I'm saying? Because we like motherfucking Voltron when we get together. Like,
now y'all don't want no parts of me.
Whatever.
God damn it.
Whatever.
Y'all don't want none of me.
Whatever. We creative as hell when we all get together.
Yeah, nah, y'all are awesome for us. I'm just glad to be on the good side of it. So that's what's up. Shout out to my woman Brittany out there. I know you're out there listening. I love you. I had to insert that in there. Yeah, I know. Whatever, something.
I love it, my friend. Love.
Let's finish up with this. All right, so I heard somebody say this on another podcast, and it wasn't a question. He just kind of just people get me fucked up. Where do people get you fucked up?
Oh, man. People always got me fucked up. They really do. They really do. They always got me fucked up. I mean, on Twitter is my outlet. You know, I spend all day, you know, in this extremely professional and confidential environment, and you know, my tone is different, my language is different, I'm using a lot of jargon. I don't have the opportunity to just be.
Right.
And Twitter, I get to just fucking be, just do whatever the fuck I want and say whatever the fuck I want. And because I do that, you know, people sometimes feel, you know, they can say things, you know, just because of how you say things. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm talking about sex or I'm talking about whatever it is, and then people just come at you real crazy, like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hello, shawty. That's where you got me fucked up. So what we gonna do is, I'm gonna block you. You know what I'm saying? And you can tweet from the, you know, the abyss. you know. No, just because I'm saying what the fuck I'm saying don't mean that you can come at me, you know, crazy. Like, people, you know, you talk about sex and motherfuckers be in your mentions like, well, come on, bitch, bust it wide open then. Motherfucker,
what made you think that was for you?
What? Really? Really? Go wash your face. Get out my mentions. You know what I'm saying? But for real, like, people just be really crazy with it, like stupid disrespectful on there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm sure that there are two sides. You know, people could be like, oh, well, you know, you put yourself in a position for people to disrespect you, or people got sense. You know, because more often than not, people, you know, Lo is just on there talking shit, or, you know what I'm saying? Or if you know me, generally, I'm the same way on there, crazy and funny as I am in person. And you definitely not gonna disrespect me in person. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the internet courage that motherfuckers get it's amazing. It's amazing.
Internet courage.
Yeah. Motherfuckers love the, you know, hard on that motherfucking keyboard.
I'm hashtagging that. Join the conversation on Twitter. Internet courage.
Yeah. Shit. Twitter need to find a way to snatch a motherfucker right off the motherfucking timeline, like, bitch.
Oh yeah, the second you do that, then that's when you see people get brand new. Like, you ever notice, you know, from afar, a motherfucker have all types of problems with you, and then the second you address it, they get fresh out the box, brand new. Like,
hey,
like no, I ain't got no, there's no issue. What are you talking about? They straighten up.
I be direct as shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't sub me, motherfucker. Because I will at your ass. Are we having a fair to communicate here? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I say your name. I'm not subbing you. Maybe I didn't ask you, but I said your name, so you know I'm talking about your monkey ass.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm just too old to be doing. You know, like, especially, I don't know hardly none of you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? People be really emotionally attached. A motherfucker unfollow them, or you get into somebody here. I don't know you.
Motherfuckers would get fresh off in their feelings when you went following
over an associate. That's how I know people are really goofy out here. Everybody is your fucking friend. No. No. I mean, I for real can count my friends on both of my hands.
Yep.
Friends. And people really offended when you say that somebody is not a friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're an associate. That doesn't mean that I don't like you or that I don't like to hang out with you, but everybody has a role, you know, to play. You know, not everybody is going to meet my family. Not everybody is going to break bread with me. Like, you have people that you drink with, your turn buddies. You got people that, go in the abyss with you. You got people who know what's in that little black box that you done pitched in the fucking ocean. Like, everybody has fucking role. The problem is that for whatever reason, everybody just wants, like, everybody to be everything.
You can't be everything to everybody.
It's okay to have levels. You know what I'm saying? And you just need to be content with whatever role it is that you play in somebody's life. And if you don't like it, either you take steps to change it or you just fuck on. You know what I'm saying? But I'm really at a point now where, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not open to making new friends, but I'm definitely those kind of people, like, you either like me or you don't. There's not really a whole lot of in between with me, just from what I've experienced over the years and meeting people. And the people who get me.
Yep.
You know, and they love me, and we will fight and be pissy and be cool. The next time, or if I don't have to talk to you every day to know that you still got my back. You know what I'm saying? So shit, I don't be giving no fuck. The internet shit, I don't think about nothing when I go to fucking bed. Ain't a motherfucker paying a bill or putting food in my mouth or fucking me, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'll argue with a motherfucker. I'm just a talking ass motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And my personality is I love having the last word. You know what I'm saying? So, if you saying some shit and I really ain't got shit else to say, I might just like, well, bitch, fuck it.
And that's your last word.
That's the last motherfucking word. Don't say shit else to me.
All right. Well, let's see. We covered a whole lot, and certainly had an awesome time with you as always. Did I miss anything? Anything else you want to add? Anything you want to put out there to the people?
No,
nothing you want to plug?
Shout out to my crew. Can't wait to see y'all next week. B-Day time coming up. Anybody who's near and dear, they know what's up. I don't gotta shout them out. They have my phone. I'll send them a message. But I'm just I appreciate you putting me on. I hope people get to see a side that's not so ratchet. I'm pretty ratchet on Twitter, but I'm also there's some good shit about me.
I believe you alone. I appreciate you for coming on and having fun with me.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I'd like to thank our guests for coming on today. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, send an email to otap@writeme.com. Follow the conversation on Twitter by searching the hashtag OTAP, that's OTAP, or following us on Twitter at OTAP Show. You can find the show on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Android users can listen to the podcast on Podcast Republic. Just download the app and search OTAP Show. On behalf of our guest, I'm your host, Corey, and I'll see you back here next week on the Air Podcast, starring you. We kind of had a conversation on this, but we talked about the name you want to have for your kid, and I kind of want that name too. And so I was like, so the name is Mecca, which is Mecca, and so we can coexist with this. We're just
gonna have our kids. They both gonna be Mecca.
But see.
I'm mad. First of all, I'm mad that Pink even put you on. I'm mad.
Well, here's it's not her fault. It's mine.
All
right,
but that's my name. You know what I'm saying? So even if she has a baby first, I don't give no fuck. I'm still gonna name my kid Becca.
Well, see, here's the thing. Here, you can do that, but here's the compromise. You got two. I came up with two for you. Could you pronounce yours as Mika?
No. Okay. There is no compromise.
Okay. Maybe Misha.
No, it's Mecca.
Right, that's gonna be my kid's name. My kid's name is gonna be Mecca.
No, it's not. It's not. Or it very well could be. And so they're just gonna be Mecca and Mecca.
So when I see your kid and my kid Mecca, and I be like, "What's up, Mika?" You gonna get upset?
Look.
Because we need to differentiate. Like you can't, we can't. I can't be like, I don't want to be in the kitchen.
Don't be disrespecting kid.
I don't want. I don't want to be.
Her name is Mecca.
I don't want to be in the kitchen and your kid's over, and I be like, Mecca, come here, and both of them come running.
That's right, both of them. Both of them go running there, and you gonna let them know which one you talking about. That's right. You damn right.
All right. So let's go back to this one then. Whoever get pregnant first.
No.
That's fair though.
No.
That's not fair.
When I tell you that I don't give no fuck, when I tell you, I need for you to understand this. I don't give no fuck. You know what I'm saying? Brittany can have a kid 5 years before me, and guess what the fuck I'm gonna name my kid?
How much you want for that baby name?
Hey, you know what? It's not for sale.
No. How much you want for it? You had the open checkbook right here. What you want for it?
No. You really lost your mind.
I'm willing to ruin y'all friendship.
What? Yo, you terrible. Brittany, we have to get rid of him.
I'm willing for y'all to beef over this. This is how hard I'm willing to go for that name.
You terrible, yo. You really are terrible.
No, but you do.
Brittany probably really don't give no fuck, and you sitting over here like, yes, this is what we gonna do.
So this is how the conversation went with us. So she was taking the step. She was like, no, it's not. But she admitted that it was a dope name. And so I understood her. I understood the position that she was in. See, I understood that she really wanted that name, but in her position as a friend to you, she can't just be like, all right, yeah, let's go for it. That's why I took it upon myself, because I know she really wants this name.
Mm-hmm. See, I shouldn't even said nothing. See, we was having girl talk, and I brought out my little.
No. So in her defense, she didn't. She was gonna keep it to herself, but you know. I got persuasive and mind control over her, so I had to go in and do some inception. I had to usurp that little piece of information, and so she was like, nah, that's her, and so it was gonna leave it like that. And I thought about it. I was like, fuck no, man, I want that name. Like we had went down like two or three list of different other names, and I was like. Yo, that's a really dope name.
It is a dope name.
Yeah. She can't just commandeer that one. So I told her. I said, yo, just go ahead and call her up and see what deal we can make out. Like I was trying to be diplomatic about it. And she kind of told me how your response would be, and I was like, well, that's cool. I don't like losing. So
this gonna be a tie.
No, it ain't gonna be a tie.
It is.
Because you gonna tell me how much you want for that name.
You tripping. You really are tripping.
All right, I'll tell you what. Why don't you could Mecca be like your kid's nickname?
No.
What if you give your kid the initials MCA, and then you go from there?
No.
What about Micah?
No.
Hey, you just being a hard ass now, man. Like Micah's a really dope name.
No. Shit.
There's no need to be this difficult.
Whatever, y'all. I'm not fooling with y'all. I'm not.